What is going on, guys? Tyler the Greatest here. I am the greatest. I hope my mic wasn't peaking just then, because it might have been. Anyways, welcome to part two. If you haven't watched part one is how to wash your dishes. It's how to wash your plates and your bowls. Part two is going to be about how to wash your pots and your pans. And two surprise dishes, or a few surprise, two surp- some surprise dishes. There's a surprise dish at the end. All right. If you've watched my first one, then you would know what that is. If you haven't, then you're in for a treat. Also, check out the YouTube short that I posted. It's how to dry your dishes. And that same method of drying applies to your pots and pans, but we'll see that in today's video. So yeah, let's get started. So you're gonna, step one, as always, just readjust where your microphone is at. Maybe put it like this, perhaps. And then, you want to tighten the bolt. All right. Also, take your leftover paper towels here and chuck them in the trash. Got to take that out too. So okay, I guess we're gonna start at this pan over here. This pan is a saucepan, or is like a skillet, and it comes with a lid, and it's pretty cool. Little saucepan, little non-stick pan. It's got some gunk in it. It's perfect for making omelets, pancakes, sear you some chicken on it. One pan pastas. And of course you gotta boil the noodles on the side. Anyways, what you're gonna do first is you're gonna get it wet with some hot water. Once again, not too hot to where your fingers burn off. Maybe the first hit could be with that hot water. That's what I'm actually gonna do here. Just rinse all I can rinse out, all that goop, all that gunk. Swirl it around, get it all around in there. I'm going to crank the heat down a little bit now. Then I'm going to hit it with that Dawn dish soap, the Platinum. And this video might be a little shorter than the last, so that's cool. And then take your bristle brush. If you don't have a bristle brush, that's okay. The reason I have this is to scrape off all the char, all the crap that's in the pan that's stuck to it. You really want a brush to do this, because you can actually damage the non-stick coating if you use like a fork or like a spatula or something. But it'll work, but just be aware that you're going to mess up your pan and maybe get cancer from eating the non-stick coating when you cook your food because it's flaking. But anyways, give it a nice scrub. Start just going to town. If you start getting to a stagnating point in the scrubbing, add some water. Add a little water to it. I'm going to give it a nice little rinse around. And then just go back in. Get some fresh water. The reason you want to add that fresh water is because water actually dissolves a lot of stuff, including food. And so, if you don't keep adding water, your stuff isn't going to dissolve off of your pan. So you're going to be forced to do nothing but scrape it, even though you have to scrape pretty good anyways. So I'm actually going to go against what I usually say here, and I'm going to use a plastic spatula to scrape the pan, get what I can off. Now this job's a little messy. I was running it underwater there for a second. That tends to help. But once you're happy with how much you've scraped off, I am. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably a little dark. Maybe you should get some light in here. That'll do. I don't like big fluorescent lighting. Or not fluorescent, Yeah, fluorescent, right? The stuff they got in schools and in prison. I don't like those lights. I like a nice warm light, you know? Though these white lights, they do come in handy when filming because it gives a, you know, you get a more natural looking color on camera. When you have a warm lighting, everything looks a bit orange. But that's okay, because it looks warm. But yeah, we washed our first pan. Look at that. We did some soap, rinsed it, and now I'm gonna dry it. And so you just get your paper towel or your dish rag. Paper towels, I think, are more hygienic than dish rags, unless you like have a fresh one every time you do dishes. That's just me. I like to use cloth rags for drying my hands, and then paper towels for other things. But I don't know. And you've dried your dish, you can go ahead and put it in your thing if you want, but I'm not going to do that because the tripod leg is in the way. So we're going to just go to the next dish. The next dish is another saucepan, or like a little boiling pot. Perfect for boiling eggs, which is actually what I did with this, but there's some weird white stuff at the bottom of this, so I'm going to wash it. Perfect for boiling eggs, small batches of mac and cheese, or like green beans or something. Great for warming up sauces like this Prego creamy vodka sauce here. I don't know if that was blurry or not because I can't see my camera. But anyways, the principle is the same. You just hit it with that hot blast of water. Give it a nice little swirl. Don't forget to get the outside as well. And then my brush is actually losing sud power. Remember how I mentioned in the last video, if you start running out of suds, what do? Add more soap. That's right. So we're going to add a little more soap here. And then we're going to give it a wash. I had a friend. That's how he said wash. He would say wash. But then I asked him one day. I was like, okay, now say. And then I was like, what's the capital of the United States? And he said, Washington, D.C. And I was like, all right, now what do you do when your clothes are dirty? And he said, you wash them. And I was like, dude, it's the same word. You know how to say wash. But I mean, to each their own, you know. It's kind of a funny little story there. Once you finish soaping up your thing with your sponge, just rinse it. And you know, this applies to pretty much everything dirty. If you have something dirty and you want to clean it, soap and water. That's all I got to do. Soap and water. And then drying, I guess. Now we're going to do the lid. Perfect for preventing overspill if it's boiling, or for preventing things from boiling over. It's kind of what the lid's for. Also, it helps contain heat, so you can potentially heat your thing up a little faster and more efficient. But same thing applies here. Hit it with that soap sponge. Hit it with that water. Boom, you got a clean lid. And so I actually lied. I've got 3 surprise dishes, but we're not doing that yet because I said pots and pans. Well, guess what? We got a baking sheet. I would say that classifies as a pan of sort. A pan of some sort. It's got a little lip on it. You know, people when they moved out west searching for gold. Oh, I forgot to say. Same thing applies. Soap, water, sponge, water. Anyways, be sure you get all the creaks and all the little crevices there, all the little corners, just in case. But no, like I was saying, when people went out gold mining, they would use a pan sifter, and the pan was like a circular version of this. And I'm sure there were square, rectangular ones out there. So, yeah, a baking sheet. Though it says baking sheet, I think it falls under the pan category. So go ahead and debate me in the comments if you'd like. I'm actually going to go ahead and put this one up. Actually, I'm not. My mic is in the way. All right, now for the first surprise. This first surprise component. Actually, just kidding. I forgot to wash the lid of the first pan that I talked about. Remember, guys, what do? That's right. Add soap and water and you scrub. That's what you do. And then you rinse after you scrub. Maybe you want to scrub again and then rinse again. Can never scrub too many times. Unless you're like washing something fleshy, you can scrub too many times. The friction will eventually heat up your skin, and you could probably, if you use steel wool and you cover yourself in sulfuric acid and you started scrubbing with it, that your flesh would just melt off your body and you'd be screaming in agonizing pain. But yeah, anyways, surprise dish number 1. A measuring cup. 1 cup. I used this to measure my serving size when I ate that chicken cheese rice Velveeta thing that I mentioned in the first video, actually. Who could tell me what dish had that rice, cheese, and Velveeta thing? I guess what 2 dishes? One of them I didn't mention before, I don't think. Yeah, that's right. The bowl that I ate it out of, and actually, this little Tupperware container that my silverware is soaking in. I put it in there to save it for another day, and then I ate it the next day for lunch. It was pretty bad the second day, actually. It was kind of nasty, but the first day was all right. The second surprise item is actually going to be the lid to this Tupperware, to that Tupperware container. So same principle applies. You saw me rinse it. Then you take your soapy sponge, scrub it. Make sure you get the front and back ends and the sides. And then you rinse it again. Oh my gosh, it's that simple. That's crazy. All right. And we'll set that to the side. And finally, last but not least, the cutting board. The cutting board. Cutting boards are great for cutting a variety of things such as chicken, beef, bread, vegetables such as green beans, or dicing potatoes or tomatoes, or chopping up little broccoli florets, I don't know what to say. Skinning potatoes, peeling carrots, chopping carrots, seasoning food. It's great to just season some burgers on, You could also do that directly on the pan. Sometimes I like to have if I'm making a big batch of burgers, that's an alliteration. If I'm making a big old batch of burgers, I will like to put it on a cooking sheet with some wax paper or some parchment paper. Stack the burgers on the baking sheet, take it out to the grill. Start throwing down, dude. Start throwing down. Tried to cook burgers on this one grill, and half of the burners didn't work, and so it took me like 25 minutes to cook the burgers. But the problem with that was the burgers were still raw in the middle, and I was so confused. I'd never quite cooked a burger like that before, and I was just dumbfounded, and my family ended up microwaving the burgers, and I was like, damn. Aunt Tara, I'm never using your grill again. So yeah, there we go. There we have it. The pots and pans are done with the surprise dishes. Huzzah! Tune in next episode. Tune in next episode for the silverware and 2 cups video. Alrighty.